How everybody doing? Michael Broom. Yeah, I'm outside, get ready to go to class. I just wanted to talk to y'all a little bit about roles and images of a father. This gonna be a two-part series. The first part I'm talking about are the images of one, and the second one's gonna be the roles of one. Um, I basically wrote it down. I know that everybody has had an experience, one of these roles. When you see your father or father figure that was in your life, that was your dad, stepdad, uncle, grandfather. They usually fit in one of these roles, and I wrote each one of them down. Um, the first one is a financial father. He basically provides the financial support of your family. He worked long hours, but he bring the paycheck home. But other than that, he takes no active part within anything else. And one part is good. He actually provided support for his family. That is a good thing. The minus is that that's all he's doing. He's not showing no emotional support. He's not doing anything. Only thing you're doing is, paying the bills. Paying the bills is good on one end, but at the same time, you still need a relationship with your children. And, typical dads like this, they workaholics. They feel like their money should equate their love. And that is not effective. It's proven to not be effective. And he don't even know his kids have any problems or anything like that. Like, he don't know what's going on in the house. All he doing is paying the bills, going to sleep, work, repetitive cycle. He's never at home. And that opens the door to a lot of problems going on with kids. This can affect the child in later years. The next one is the rock father. I'm going to call it the rock father. The rock father, he's pretty much the tough one. Strict disciplinarian. He basically takes charge of the entire family with the iron fist. Yeah, that's pretty much what he's doing. He also might believe that a good father can remain emotionally distant from his children. So expression of affection are pretty much taboo. He felt it as if showing affection would discredit his authority. Basically make it seem like he's soft, especially with his sons. He also believed that the mother should provide all the emotional support, but that weighs a whole lot on the mother. I know for me as a dad, I made that mistake. I made that mistake with my wife. She was doing all the emotional support the first year and a half of when after my son was born. I thought she was responsible for that, but what I didn't know was that father and mother are responsible for emotional support. Because the more you weigh on, the more you tax on the mother of your child, the more stressful she's going to get. The more stressful she gets, the more stressful you become. And whenever the father wants to actually have a relationship with his kids, instead of being this, strict disciplinarian, it is most of the time it's too late. By this time, the kids are grown. They probably got families of their own. They either don't have the time, or they so hurt with what happened in the past that they don't want to deal with you. They don't want to deal with them. That's exactly what it is. Now, the benefits is the children will be more disciplined, but at the same time, the father, they didn't show it at home. So what they go do? They go find it somewhere else. It's with males, the way they find it through someone else is through a gang, or organization, or somewhere they can get in trouble. The streets was pretty much an open playing field for absent fathers, whether the rock or the financial dad. Any father that has a semblance of absenteeism within the household, they go run and find it. And with daughters, they basically go try to find their love with another man. And most of the time, that's not good, because most of these men out here are targeted and want one thing. They want to use and abuse her just because she feel like that's the only love she's going to get is by opening up her legs to another man. And it's not right. And it's our task as fathers, we need to step up to that plate. The next dad is cool dad. Cool dad is, you got those typical cool dads. They always want to be cool. They feel like they can be current. They can be relevant. Well, the problem about that being relevant is they don't really understand their children. They live in a whole different generation. Like, my generation was different than my parents' generation. So on and so forth. When my son gets older, he's going to be in a whole different area than what I did growing up. There's some of the experiences might be the same, but overall it's a different generation. It's a different era. And they feel like sometimes if it backfires, they feel like they lost their respect. So they feel like they are absent after that. They don't really do too much after that. They try so hard to be the child's friend more than being their parent. And that's the problem with this generation now. They want to be friends with your kids. Well, they got kids at school. Be their parent. Be their dad. That's the role you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be their parent. They get friends at school. They get friends at church. They get friends when they go out to the mall, when they meet new people. Shoot, they can do it online now. How the internet is, social media. They can get their friends with that. You be their parent. You're supposed to be responsible. Don't level down to a child. Don't level down to a child's level. Because they're not going to see you as, they're not going to respect you as a parent. They're going to think to get away with whatever and whenever they want to. And they know you ain't going to do nothing about it. So being a cool dad isn't a good look. You can try to, relate to your kids in the sense that you want to get to their level to see what's going on with them, to talk to them. But trying to be their friend, that's never been good. And that creates kids that aren't responsible. They create kids that aren't mature. They create kids that don't know anything about life once they get older, because they feel like since their parent is their friend, they feel like they can just do whatever. Not even towards the parent, but towards other people. And other people ain't gonna let that fly. They're not gonna let that fly. Next dad is the holiday dad. This is what some kids face. Holiday dad is pretty much the deadbeat father. That's pretty much what they are. They basically not the father at all. They show up at holidays, birthdays. You might see them once or twice a year, or something comes up. Or the mother has to beg and plead with them just to show up for a school play or something at church or anything of that fashion. And he's a barely part of your life. Like he missed out. He missed out on everything. But if it's a situation you become successful, or you become somebody, or you came through a lot of odds, a lot of times they try to take the credit like they did it themselves. Or they want to be really involved with you then because you made it. You made something out of yourself. I know for me personally, this is what I dealt with the most out of all the types of dads. My father was not involved. He wasn't there. I don't know if he wanted to, I'm not sure if he wanted to be there or not. But this is what I dealt with the most. I barely seen him. I barely talked to him, especially when I was younger. And so this affects them. This affects them physically, emotionally. A lot of kids that have deadbeat fathers have a identity crisis. They don't know what to do. The father's supposed to give the birthright to their kids to get them in the right direction of their identity. If they don't know who they are, what you think go do to someone else, or what they go do when they get older? They get a lot behind if they don't have a proper father's instruction. You set your kids behind by not being a responsible father. That's the role of the father. You're supposed to be the one to put them in the right direction, to guide them the right way. Where there's no guidance, there's no leadership. Father is the leader. If you don't create no leaders, what you're going to create? A bunch of followers. That is what the problem is within this generation. We are raising a bunch of men. They are irresponsible, inconsiderate, and don't know what a true man is because a man was never there in the first place. All right. The last thing is the caregiver father. They try to combine toughness with tenderness. They enjoy children, but not afraid to set firm but fair limits. Him and his wife are the mother of the child. They may cooperate in child rearing, domestic activities. Actually, most fathers are considering this just because it creates a better balance between you and the mother of the child and the child itself. It creates a balance. You need to be balanced as a dad. As a father, you need to be balanced. If you do not be balanced, you will create yourself in disarray, the mother in disarray, and the child most effectively in disarray. You want order and establishment within your household, but don't let it to the point that you get ran over. We are in a timid, very timid generation. This is a generation you get walked all over. There's no standard anymore. There's no responsibility. There's no maturity within this generation. I challenge every father out there to challenge your kids, to be there for them in everything, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Guide them in the right direction. That is your personal challenge as a dad. Be there for your kids every step of the way, not just partial, not just a little bit. The children you need to be involved with your kids every step of the way. Be it every doctor's appointment, be it every graduation, be it every event that they have, every game that they have, win, lose, or draw. Whatever your child does, be completely supportive. Most fathers, most are interested in having a satisfied relationship with their children. But fathers should know that they are actually important to their children. A father is a critical factor in how a child is raised and how a child will be within a society. You have to understand that being a father is a high responsibility. And the more we acknowledge this responsibility, the better we will end out. Fathers need to know more about balance, and that is what God can provide. God can provide you with the greatest balance. Pray about it. Seek the Lord, because He will guide you within the right direction. Let's stand up and be better fathers and overall better men. Let's rise up. This is Michael Broom. I'm out.